Come here, Gunter. Fell down right at the last minute. Oh, it fell down right at the last minute. Ooh. Ooh. Goodness gracious. Ah. And welcome to another exciting episode of You Don't Know. You don't know, huh? So don't act like you do. Because then something bad might happen to you. Here we are in McCulloch County, right next to Mason County. McCulloch County is where they have the Brady County Courthouse, which is supposedly haunted. It is a courthouse that I've researched quite a bit on my Tartarian research, which is boots on the ground type research. In other words, we're, looking at stuff on the internet, but we're also, Gunter, you're kind of messing up my frame here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Anyway, but we're also kind of, are definitely doing, a real investigation, looking at these buildings up close. And of course, the Mason County Courthouse burnt only just a matter of probably less than 2 months ago. So there's an ongoing campaign to destroy these buildings, these Tartarian buildings, which are much older than we are told that they are. Most of these buildings, they say, were built between 1885 and 1895, and that's not true. They're much older than that. And none of these buildings have architectural plans for them. At the very most, they have sketches of the buildings after they're already completed. And the credit for the design of these buildings goes to just a handful of architects who are all Masons or members of different Germanic secret societies and stuff like this. Like Leo Dielmann from San Antonio, he got a lot of credit for designing churches, courthouses, and stuff like that, and he just didn't do it. And I'm going to expose that. Going to be going to look at the Leo Dielmann papers at the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, one of their archives, and also at a university archives for some to look at some of the Leo Dielmann papers. And there's another architect, his name escapes me right now. I'm going to be looking into him as well. These people started being architects. Some of them were educated in Europe, and they started being architects at very young age, like 22, 23 years old. And in 10 years, or they just built or designed tons of churches, courthouses, stuff like that, with sacred geometry, and there's no architectural plans. Some of these things, they have what they're calling architectural plans, but they're just sketches, detailed sketches of these buildings with no measurements or anything. So what they just handed a sketch to the builders, and said, okay, here you go, build this sacred geometry, with all these arches and stuff like that, and with no measurements, no angles, no vortices, or trigonometry and all that stuff it would take to actually build these buildings. These buildings are real buildings. Many of them have been just rebuilt several times due to numerous fires. That's one way that the truth is obfuscated on this Tartarian reality, and it's just fascinating. It's just mind-boggling. One thing we're finding out about is the canal system in the United States. There's a canal system connected with the Erie Canal and stuff like this on the whole eastern seaboard of the United States that's so extensive it boggles the imagination. And in fact, the entire east coast of the United States has artificial sandbars on it that make it ideal for shipping and stuff like that. And there's no way in hell it took a monumental effort to put all this stuff in. There's nothing in the history books about it's just there. People who are into shipping and boating and stuff like that know about these canals and lock systems and these sandbars, and no one questions it. And it's just the most massive undertaking imaginable, and it was just already there. It's just there, and it's artificial and it's ideal for shipping and stuff like that. So it's we're really making some headway on this whole Tartarian deal. Recently, Gunter. Recently, they released Off Planet Radio. Randy Moggins released a video with a lot of genealogy stuff, featuring yours truly and all the weird discoveries we've been making. What are you looking at, Gunter? In the way of genealogy, and it's just mind-blowing. We've even learned things that are detailed and documented even since appearing on that show, which was about a month and a half ago, even though it was released only just 3 days ago. And one thing is that I am a direct descendant of William the Conqueror. William the Conqueror is my 30th great-grandfather. I'm also a direct descendant of Charlemagne. Charlemagne, whose name is a very long name, is my 38th great-grandfather. We already knew I am a direct descendant of Margaret Tudor and her son James V, the regent, ruler of England, her son. And I'm also a direct descendant of Oliver Cromwell, who people from the UK know who he is. Anyway, so it's all very fascinating. We're part way into this deal with the genealogy, finding out about all these correspondences and people that I'm related to, and along the way found out, it had never dawned on me that you can be related to one of these people in more than one way. In other words, when you're related to one of these people, you have a common ancestor. So in other words, like Abraham Lincoln, I'm related to Abraham Lincoln. That means that you go up his family tree a little bit and you go up mine, and we have a common ancestor. Well, lo and behold, I'm related to Abraham Lincoln 22 times. That means we have 22 common ancestors, okay? That's not a coincidence, okay? George Washington, we have 15 common ancestors. Gerald Ford and I have 76 common ancestors. Janis Joplin and I have 77 common ancestors. This shit doesn't happen by accident, okay, folks? And we're beyond the wowee look at me factor. Oh yeah, I'm related to all these, politicians and royalty and celebrities and stuff like that. Ooh yeah, how cool. No, what we're doing is goes much deeper than this. Then the fact that it's personal to me is mind-blowing, of course, but we're getting a look at how the system, the world system works, the inner workings of it. And somebody remarked, somebody I'm doing some of this research with, I'm related to this person, that we have, it's a tiny gene pool. Basically I have a tiny gene pool. There's been some, callous remarks or sarcastic remarks and stuff online, say, oh, inbred and all that stuff. Yeah, my mother and my father are related in over 200 different ways, okay? It's all right, I don't, that's fucking mind-blowing. But and there's not a retarded bone in my body. I can assure you of that. So it's fascinating, this thing with the genealogy, and what it's something we've been told all along, that these elites or whoever they are, Phoenicians maybe, they interbreed with one another. They keep it all in the family, and it's as much about, I think, exclusivity as anything else. I don't think that these people are any better or any, really, I don't know that they're any different, but they're definitely not any better than we are the human race. That's all, that's what it is. But yeah, there's something going on, and these people feel the need to, keep, I guess, certain traits or something like this. It may come down to programmability, being the proclivity to be mind controlled, something like that. I just don't know. But, there's all of these Hollywood actors are suspect, politicians, singers. I'm related to Prince. I'm related to Elvis Presley. I'm related to Jim Morrison, Buddy Holly, Janis Joplin. I think I mentioned that. Johnny Cash. I'm related to Johnny. I've like 60 something common ancestors with Johnny Cash. Okay. Merle Haggard. I'm related to Merle Haggard in 109 ways. Merle Haggard and I have 109 common ancestors. Wrap your fucking mind around that. I mean, it's fucking bizarre. This shit did not happen by accident, okay? So I've had to come to grips with the reality, the unavoidable fact that, I personally am a product of this scientifically controlled selective breeding program that has been going on for at least 500 years, okay? So what the fuck is up with all this? I don't know. And what's going on with this Tartarian shit, where we find out that we've been lied to about the whole history of the United States, the whole history of America. Yes, when Columbus came over here, they already knew it was here, Rudolf Steiner says that America, I think it was Rudolf Steiner said this, but it was off limits. People knew about America long ago. People in Europe, they all knew about it, but then it was forgotten from the common memory on purpose and taken out of people's minds and memories, because America, or what's now where the United States is a land where is very spiritual. In other words, and there's very many spirits operating here. And for some reason, the human race needed a break from that or something like that. And so they didn't want people to be over here. But then they decided to come back or something. It's fascinating. Rudolf Steiner talks about these doppelgangers, that every human being is born with a Luciferic and an Ahrimanic doppelganger. These are essentially demonic entities that come into the human being before birth and leave right before death. In other words, the human soul is not big enough to fill up the human constitution. There's room left over. And so that allows these entities to come into and be a part of us, our lives, our entire lives. And their job is to stay hidden from us. They are the source of many of our thoughts. It's fucking bizarre, and they are also the source of much of our antipathy, misery, and everything like this. Because, what's wrong, Gunter? Because they somehow feed on, no, watch out, buddy, on our misery. You know, our misery is somehow their food, you know, and these, I don't, that sounds like the archons or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what the relation is there. But anyway, we're making some we're gaining ground on a lot of this stuff and a lot of these understandings. And what's really happening is it's really opening a lot more doors, asking a lot more questions. So we're going to be here, you know, trying to bring the truth to you the way that we find it, you know, unadulterated, raw, in your face, doing what we always do as YouTube begins to censor people so much more. Randy Moggins had a video the other day that was like, it was out for like an hour and it got taken down by YouTube. Carrie Cassidy's entire YouTube channel has been taken down. I don't think that my channel is going to be taken down for reasons I really don't want to get into, but I still have to be careful about what I say. When people are, you know, we don't talk about any Maxine. Do you know what Maxine is? That's the new word. Maxine, if you know Maxine, then that means you have taken the, you know, the Maxine, you know, shot. So I think y'all know what that's all about. Anyway, we're going to continue bringing y'all the truth in the style, the way we do it, you know, here at Basis, Texas. Keep it real, huh? All right, man, that's it. Adios.